Most beginner investors do not lose money because the stock market is evil. They lose money because they walk straight into traps with the confidence of someone pushing a door that clearly says, pull. In 2024, Dalbar reported that the average equity investor earned 16.54%, while the S&P 500 returned about 25%, which means many investors missed a huge chunk of the gains because of behavior, timing, and panic decisions. Today, I am going to show you the 7 traps beginners fall into, why they are so expensive, and how to avoid them before your portfolio starts looking like a group project where nobody did the reading. If you are new to investing, this is the stage where every decision feels dramatic. You buy one share of something and suddenly you are checking your phone like you are waiting on test results. But here's the truth. Your first few years as an investor can set the tone for decades. The habits you build now can help you become calm, consistent, and wealthy over time. Or they can turn you into someone who sells every time a headline uses the word uncertainty. And listen, the market has more uncertainty than a toddler with a permanent marker. For a deep dive, get my book, The Wealth Basics, a practical guide to investing and building generational wealth, the stuff we should have learned in high school. Available on Amazon. Link is in the description. Here is the plan. First, I will show you the 7 beginner investing traps. Second, I will show you why each one is dangerous using simple numbers and industry research. Third, I will show you the fix, so you can stop investing like you are spinning a prize wheel at a county fair. Disclaimer. This content is for educational and entertainment purposes only, and is not financial, legal, or tax advice. Investing involves risk, including loss of principal. Consider your goals, time horizon, and risk tolerance before investing. Speak with a certified financial advisor to help you develop a customized plan. Now let's get back to learning. Picture 2 beginners. Investor A starts with $500, adds $200 a month, buys a diversified low-cost fund, and leaves it alone. Investor B starts with $500, also adds $200 a month, but changes strategy every time someone on social media says this stock is about to explode. Investor A is boring. Investor B is exciting. But boring is often where the money lives. Exciting is where portfolios go to develop trust issues. Schwab's 2024 Modern Wealth Survey found that just 36% of Americans have a written financial plan, yet 96% of those with a written plan say they feel confident about reaching their financial goals. That is not just a statistic. That is the difference between driving with GPS and driving by vibes. Vibes are fun at brunch. They are terrible for retirement. But here is where most people get this wrong. They think investing success comes from finding one magical stock, one secret signal, or one guy online who somehow knows the future but still records videos in his car. The real unlock is avoiding the mistakes that quietly drain your wealth while you are busy trying to look smart. The first trap is waiting until you know enough to start. This sounds responsible, but sometimes it is fear wearing a fake mustache. You say, I will start once I understand everything. Great. So you plan to start investing in the year 2097, right after you finish reading every article on the internet and finally understand bond duration without needing a snack break? Beginner investors do not need to know everything. They need to know enough to start wisely. The key questions are simple. What is my goal? When do I need the money? How much risk can I handle without panic selling? Vanguard's investing principles emphasize goals, balance, cost, and discipline. Notice that predict next Tuesday's market movement is not on the list. The second trap is investing money you need soon. If the rent is due in 3 weeks, that money should not be auditioning for a role in the stock market. Money you need in the short term needs stability. Investing is powerful, but it is not a magic microwave where you put in $1,000 and 30 seconds later pull out generational wealth with a tiny ding. A simple rule is to separate short-term money from long-term money. emergency fund, near-term bills, and money for big purchases coming soon should usually stay in safer, more liquid places. Long-term investing works best when you can leave the money alone long enough for compounding to do its job. Compounding is like a crock pot. If you keep opening the lid every 5 minutes, dinner is going to take forever. The third trap is chasing hot stocks and trends. This is when a beginner hears about a stock after it has already gone up 300%, then jumps in because everyone is talking about it. That is like showing up to a party at 2 a.m. when the food is gone, the music is off, and someone is arguing with a lamp. The problem is not that individual stocks are always bad. The problem is concentration and timing. If one stock becomes too large a piece of your portfolio, one bad earnings report can hit your account like a folding chair in a wrestling match. Fidelity explains that diversification means spreading investing dollars across a wide range of investments, and that it can help reduce portfolio risk and create smoother returns over time. The fourth trap is confusing activity with progress. Some beginners think if they are not buying, selling, researching, switching, rotating, optimizing, re-optimizing, and creating a spreadsheet with 19 tabs, they are not investing correctly. But investing is one of the few areas where doing less can be doing more. Let's say your portfolio earns 8% before costs, but you pay high fees, trade frequently, and make emotional decisions that reduce your return by 2% per year. That may not sound huge until you realize that over 30 years, a 2% difference can dramatically reduce your ending wealth. Fees and bad timing do not walk in wearing villain costumes. They show up quietly, sit on your returns, and eat your snacks. The fifth trap is panic selling. This is the classic beginner move. The market drops, your account turns red, the news starts using scary music, and suddenly you want to sell everything and live in a bunker with canned soup and a password-protected spreadsheet. Dalbar's 2025 QAIB report showed that investors underperformed the S&P 500 in 2024, with equity fund investors missing a major portion of the market's gain. The report connected that gap to investor behavior, including withdrawals from equity funds before major market strength. Translation: people got scared, stepped out, and missed the comeback. The market did not take their money. Their reaction did. The sixth trap is ignoring asset allocation. Asset allocation is simply how your money is divided among stocks, bonds, cash, and other investments. This matters because your mix of investments largely determines how wild the ride feels. A portfolio that is 100% stocks may grow more over time, but it can also drop hard enough to make your stomach file a complaint. Vanguard notes that a portfolio's mix of assets defines its range of returns, and that a balanced, diversified mix can help reduce volatility and guard against unnecessarily large losses. This is why your portfolio should match your goals, timeline, and risk tolerance. If you are 25 and investing for retirement, your allocation may look different than someone who needs the money in 5 years. Same market, different mission. The seventh trap is having no written plan. This is the big one, because a plan protects you from yourself. Without a plan, every market dip feels like an emergency, every hot stock feels like destiny, and every opinion online sounds like wisdom delivered by a hoodie. Your plan does not need to be fancy. It can be one page. It should answer, what am I investing for? How much will I invest each month? What will I invest in? When will I rebalance? What will I do when the market falls? That last one is important because the best time to decide how you will behave during a crash is before the crash, not when your portfolio is doing a dramatic reenactment of a roller coaster. Now here's the part nobody talks about, and it is the reason most beginners lose money without realizing it. The biggest investing trap is not usually one giant mistake. It is a series of tiny emotional decisions repeated over years. A little panic here, a little chasing there, a little, I saw a video over there, and suddenly your portfolio looks like it was built by a squirrel with Wi-Fi. So how do you avoid the traps? Use a simple investing system. Step 1. Build a starter emergency fund before investing aggressively. Step 2. Define your goal and timeline. Step 3. Choose a diversified, low-cost portfolio that matches your risk tolerance. Step 4. Automate contributions so you are not depending on motivation, because motivation disappears faster than leftovers in a house with teenagers. Step 5. Rebalance on a schedule, not based on panic. Fidelity recommends checking asset allocation at least once a year, or when your financial circumstances change significantly. That is a calm, structured approach. Not, the market dropped 2%, so I must reinvent my entire personality by lunch. Step 6. Focus on what you can control. Vanguard highlights 4 core principles: clear goals, balance through diversification, minimizing costs, and maintaining discipline. That is the boring checklist that can beat the exciting chaos. And if you are thinking, that sounds too simple, remember, simple does not mean easy. Eating vegetables is simple too, but somehow fries keep making compelling arguments. Step 7. Keep learning, but do not let learning become procrastination. You can build wealth while learning. You do not have to become Warren Buffett before buying your first diversified fund. You just need a reasonable plan, consistent contributions, patience, and the humility to admit that the market does not care about your predictions, your confidence, or your favorite finance app color theme. The takeaway, aka the video recap. Trap 1. Waiting until you know enough. Start small and keep learning. Trap 2. Investing money you need soon. Separate short-term cash from long-term investing. Trap 3. Chasing hot stocks. Diversify so one bad pick does not body slam your future. Trap 4. Confusing activity with progress. More trading does not automatically mean better investing. Trap 5. Panic selling. Market declines are normal, but emotional selling can be expensive. Trap 6. Ignoring asset allocation. Your investment mix should match your goals, timeline, and risk tolerance. Trap 7. Having no written plan. A plan gives your future self instructions when your current self starts sweating. The goal is not to become the perfect investor. The goal is to become a consistent investor. Beginners do not need more hype. They need habits. They need a plan. They need discipline. And they need to remember that investing is not about looking like a genius today. It is about giving your money enough time, structure, and patience to quietly build the future you actually want. If you find this video helpful, make sure to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to help the channel grow and reach more investors who want to build smarter, calmer portfolios. Watch the next video shown on screen to continue your investment journey, and I'll see you in the next one.